Comes the maintenance for a season, like especially these 1200s and the 1240s, we've seen a lot of pivot, here lately anyways, we've seen a lot of the pivot bushings that guys don't know about, and we find that are gonna cause a problem or are causing problems. And so we've been able to help at least 5 guys out here now. The last 2 guys I've had brought it in, they didn't know about that until we said something. And then, so one, okay, get me on the list. Could be you don't notice it. Some of them, you get the, you'll actually see the toolbar rock when you lower the planter down and pick it up. We've had one customer so bad it actually, the planter quit pivoting on its own. You actually had to give it help or have park on a side hill for gravity. And so that one was a clear sign the pivot bushing was out. And those are getting to be more prevalent now. We see with the 1200s and 1240s. More age on them, more acres is where we're starting to see them. Obviously these 1200s and 1240s have been out. Heck, we're going on 20 years on some of them. You know, so it could take a while to see it, but it's most likely gonna be an issue that's seen on those as well. They're only looking at their planter, us. We're looking at multiple planters. You know, we see, heck, in a season, I could be out working on 20 to 30 planters throughout the planting season, because he may not know that there's a common issue going on with other guys, that he may see it for the first time where I've seen it for 5 years. But we seem to get a lot of planter calls within the first 2 weeks of, hey, this ain't working, or hey, you know, I don't know why this is doing this, and then we get there and it's something that we could have prevented, you know, and it could be, you know, anything, you know, from, you know, pivot point, it could be electrical with the wiring harness. You know, we would have saw something that they normally won't look for. On these planters, there's so many pivot points, so much moving parts. We'll see electrical damage up here in the main harness, you know, turn too sharp, you know, or you catch something, you pull the ISO plug out, or these pivot points down the tongue, you get a wire pinch, you know, all these pivot points I've seen damage to harnesses, and it may take us a while to find it, but it's something, you know, as we're going, we might find more and more signs of, yeah, this harness should have been replaced before season, because there's multiple damaged locations. And then now we got butt connectors, or, you know, we've done this and that, and now you got more chances for corrosion. A lot of times, wing pivot, there's some of them have greasable points on them. They don't get greased, the pins get seized, and then that, you know, we see those pins walk out sometimes. They'll actually break this bolt right here, and if it's constantly breaking the bolt, that tells us this pin is seized into the main frame. There's a grease zerk on there. You guys aren't greasing them, then we see that being the cause of not being greased. With these older planters, there's a lot more hoses. We will see a lot of times, guys, the hoses the planters are getting old enough, the hoses are getting dry rotted, or they're rubbing, and then they start seeping. And obviously, as you can tell looking at the tongue, it's quite the process to remove one hose to replace it. A lot of times pre-season, if you're into it and the hoses are showing signs of needing replaced, we recommend replacing them all. Just because the amount of labor it takes to get to one hose, we'd rather do it pre-season before we have to try to do it during season. And during season, most guys will only want to do that one hose and not do them all. So in the long run, it helps you if we do it now prior. You know, it's a big expense up front, but it saves you downtime during season. You skip inspections every other year, every couple of years. You may miss little things that add up. A lot of little things add up to a big bill, where every year you catch 1 or 2 little things, it's a smaller bill. And you'd have a less chance of a downtime during season on a preventable repair. Before you park your combine away after harvest, we ask, pull your planter out. Bring your planter in, leave it for us for the winter time, and then that allows us to get a chance to work on them all winter, and they're prepped, so then when you take them home, you know, they're ready to go for spring. You ain't got to worry about it, hook it to your tractor, you know, and if you bring it in with your tractor and can leave your tractor with us, you know, then we make sure everything works.